Welcome, everybody, to the Legions Lounge, episode 43. Episode 43, yeah, 43. Where we talk about all things Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, Figura Obscura, customs, and other Mythic-related action figures and dios and toy photography, too, which is what we'll be talking about tonight. We're your hosts. My name is Trevor, at 16shooter on Instagram. My co-host here tonight, Nate Strong, and every night, really, that we're on this show.
What's going on?
Corona4 on the Instagram. And we've got a very special guest. Bill is off tonight, but we've got a very special guest straight from ZoloCon, the one and only purveyor of massive, deadly weapons and more for your Mythic Legions figures from Detour Customs, Stefan.
Yes.
Zelator.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
How's it going? We want to good to have you, man. Again, you might be the all-time guest winner. I'm not really sure. Who else has been on more than Steph?
I can't think of anybody.
Maybe Curtis. Curtis has been on a few times.
Anthony, Hatfield, I don't know. They're up there, but I'd say Steph takes it.
Yeah, pretty close. Before we get started, please take a second. It only takes a second to smash that like button like a barbarian with a hangover. Helps us out, lets people know we're on right now. So stop, take a second, do it now. I always feel like I'm stealing Brad's gig when I do an Arnold.
It's hard not to do it.
I don't do a great Arnold, so whatever. If you're new to the channel and not subscribed, consider it. Hit the bell to be notified when we're on. We just did a cool international show last weekend. On a Saturday, Nate? Saturday,
yeah,
which was
Saturday,
awesome.
We went on at 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m., which is not our usual time, obviously, because, international people, we didn't want to keep them up till 3 or 4 in the morning. Unless you're from Sweden, and then we're just going to make you get up whenever and come on the show. Because you're willing to, for some reason, because you're just so nice over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great show. But we also have the 1 6-pack every other Friday. We will be doing it, I think, this Friday. We had canceled last Friday. My bad. Where we talk hot toys, and I have a bunch of toy photography tutorials, reviews, and behind-the-scenes walkthroughs. So check those out. That's what this channel's started on, and we're going to get right back to it tonight. And I've been wanting to do this for a while. We've kind of dropped the ball on talking about, I want to get back to like picking out some pictures of the week too and going through those. Thinking about maybe starting our own hashtag just to get people to post to that. I know it's kind of a pain to remember another hashtag, but yeah, maybe we can get people to do it. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, just to be able to just flick through and
Hashtag Legions Lounge.
Hashtag.
Oh, hashtag, yeah. Legions Lounge. There you go. Easy enough. Easy enough, yeah. But we'll see. But I want to get to it. So Nate, tell us who's in the chat here. Who we got? I don't think Dave Orkin was first tonight. He was not.
We've got Vonnie Rotten Picks, better known as Mitch, who goes by lots of
He's got
names.
the lizards. Let's get the lizards in there, man.
There you go.
We need a little mascot.
Cool.
Memoji.
Right on. And then filed right behind him is Mr. Dave Orkin, Kevin Boots, Kevin Dufresne, Disavowed Action Figures, J-Max77, Cloud Foxwell, Scott Baker, Joe Gonzalez, our big winner.
Joe G.
Yeah, Joe, man.
Jonathan Hedgehog Action, Michael Xavier, Skelosoria. David Smith says, I made it 6 days without power, but he's still here, man. I'm feeling for you because
they can relate.
I went 2 days, so 6 days, man. Way to hang in there. Motu Guru. I am TJ Williams. Thomas Belay. Link. Brick Something. Fortress Manimus. Tom Clayton. Laura. Aristotle. Highly Articulated. Joe Vasapolo. Joe V's in the house. What's up?
What's up, Joe?
Velvet Jesse. Hey, Figure Fan Nate. Cool. 78 points on articulation. JG. Michael Woods. Captain Firebeard Baker, J-Max77. We've got
a great name.
Adam Power. And Pablo's on too. Jamie Lee. And that covers it.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Super chat from Kevin Boots.
Kevin, thank you, sir.
Lounge Lizard.
Thank you very much.
Like button.
Yes, please, and appreciate it, man. Appreciate that $5 super chat. I've got some ideas. We're gonna spruce things up here in the next year. Some opening songs and things. I got some ideas, so we'll
Nice.
see. All that's gonna go to that.
Cool.
Because God knows I don't need any more toys, so it's not going to that. Jeez. Let's bring up the Lords of the Lounge here. There are other super chatters from the last couple of weeks. Curtis Ackerman, of course, Braku Prime, Kevin Boots again, Scott Baker, T. Belay, Boyd Called Mouse, someone named Stefan Della
Tower year.
and a Greg Colanini. I probably said that wrong. Jordan and Noir Kaiser Effects. He put who was it? Greg. I think it was a friend of Chris's. He gives us like a $50 super chat last week, so we've already put that towards Chris's Kickstarter, and that's kind of the first thing I wanted to take a look at. Cool. So I actually have to open up the screen here, and because I didn't have it ready to go, stupidly, I wanted to. But do we know where he is? Yeah, Steph, you got to see Chris over the weekend,
right?
Yeah. Yes. He had an immaculate setup.
Immaculately.
Very nice, very nice.
But he had the full spread. He even had some stuff that hadn't been revealed yet. It was
nice.
In person, the base figures, the soft goods, the paint. Oh my gosh, I was stunned. And this is coming from somebody who has been in Chris's face about the project for quite some time now, and I was just shocked. I was shocked.
Yep.
They
sure look good. I mean,
I mean, you know who's behind it, and you know the quality work he brings us through the Four Horsemen. So, in one respect, I have to assume these are going to be up there quality wise, but it's always the case until you see stuff in person, you don't really fully appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I gotta check with him because people have been saying this, and I'm not really sure where that stands. But the soft goods look really good for the size on there. But I think he's like, these are preliminary things, and I think they're being sort of upgraded, redone, or something like that. Yeah. So I want to double check with him because I don't want to say that if that's not the case. But I've heard some people saying that that's what he said.
I think I've heard that, yeah.
I don't know if CJSM is doing them or not. I'm not really sure, so I'm not going to throw that out there. But I mean, there's they're great, obviously, but there's plenty of people who do fantastic soft goods for 6-inch figures. So I don't know where that stands. I still think they look really good, especially for the price and what you get with all this stuff. Yeah. I love the St. Michael. This thing's amazing.
Seeing them in person, the goal was to have that draping effect. These holy robes, and sometimes the photos they capture these things in a static pose that might make the soft goods seem not unsightly, but out of proportion. But when you look at these things in person and you move them around, then you understand why the proportion is the way it is and why the cut is the way it is. If he is going to improve, it's going to be even more stellar. And it's his birthday today, by the way, isn't it?
It is his birthday. I was going to bring that up. Yeah. Happy birthday to Chris, man. It's not like he didn't remind us like every time, every chance he got.
Yeah.
How could I forget? But he is up to 48,000 of the goal of 80 with 23 days to go, man. That is a good thing. We're 60. That's about 60%, 65% of the way. And I see him, the Fush had this on the other day, so it's getting around there. I hope he's getting out to people who are not just in the action figure world. I'm hoping he's getting some breakthroughs in terms of, people who are a little more religious minded, who might be interested in these things, just having them on their shelves too. But it's going good. So get out there. Listen, nothing goes through. I'm not saying to beg out later, but if you're interested in these things, if you think about doing it, nothing's charged until the end. You can change some things up in the post Kickstarter. with the backer kit. And so just get in there and help this get over the edge, man, because it's really cool.
And if
I like what Curtis has been saying about it too. Even if you're not interested, this isn't your thing, you don't see one thing in here you want, help spread the word at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
We all know and love Chris, and just help. Just want to see him
put it up in your story or something like that, or wherever you are on social media. Just help a brother out.
It's a particularly good wave of figures for customizers too, because Chris is doing the blanks.
Yeah, $15.
Those bucks. Let me tell you, those blanks look really good, man.
Yes.
They're like, amazing. And they're like, they look Noda level. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody knows, like Noda level, that people use for customizing Mezco style figures, which these should be pretty much in line with.
Yeah.
And that they're what, $15?
Yeah,
like $15.
Yep.
With three different skin complexions.
It's crazy, man. It's that. Yeah. Listen, he asked me. He's like, "What do you think for the blanks?" And I said, "I don't know, 35." He's like, "35." I'm like, "Yeah, man. That's notice are like 45, 50. Like, you could get away with that." He's like, "Nah, I want to keep it affordable." So, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, he went way down.
Awesome.
Cool, Dave Orkin. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in there, man. I mean, like, again, I am not a religious person, but I love that St. Michael statue. I love some of those demons. Those are going to work right in with some of the stuff that I do.
Absolutely.
I'll totally make that work for sure. Yep. But yeah, get in on that. That's cool. The Furious 4 and the Unknown One sales end tomorrow. So if you
9
want
p.m.
in on these things, you got till tomorrow, kids. This is it.
I
think Lord Bushati is sold out. You can still get Praetorian and Uwit, and you can still get the Uncone one, but only till tomorrow. And I'm not sure what time tomorrow. What time does it say?
9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern. Okay. All right. So that's that. If you haven't gotten them by now, I don't know what you're waiting for. Lots of good pieces.
They're dwindling, so get them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, they did not have those at Zolocon, right?
They did not. It was Deluxe Legion builders, some Lithia, some All-Stars kind of sprinkled in there. Day one, there was a bit of Caladius and Zarya kind of an uptick, but by the time I got there Sunday, it was pretty standard stuff we've seen in the other cons.
Yeah.
I didn't grab much.
I'm just going to run through this real quick because, let me make sure that I'm not getting...
Oh, check this out.
What's that?
I ordered the Unknown One tonight. It'll be my first Mythic Legion.
Oh, nice.
Outstanding. Outstanding. You're in for a treat, brother. You're in for a treat.
Right on.
So
we... sorry, not sorry.
It's courtesy of Walter Hagen lineup. They had some pretty good stuff here, man.
Yeah, they had a couple hot ones in there over the weekend. Yeah. I saw Sir Gerard, a Calavius.
Yeah, all the Alithia stuff. Look at the Zarya there. Is that Zarya? Yeah, Zarya.
Yeah, the Skeleton Legion builder.
Yeah, I'm really shocked at some of the stuff that they had here, man. This is really great. And they had that kit. A couple of the horses. Killer prices, man. If you can get over there not to Zolocon, but if you can get to a show and they're spreading them out across the country.
Yeah, they got
do it.
Get them creeping up there.
I know, right? Creepy Len. Yeah, and Wolf King Customs was there as well.
Incredible display. I mean, Wolf King, they really came to play this con.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen customs that were just so breathtaking. I gotta go find a seat.
Len just keeps upping his game, man. Every show, it's unbelievable. And I love how he makes space for everyone else to showcase their work too. That's so cool.
Yes. Were you able to score one of those, Steph?
By the time I got there, Aethon was complete. Arathir.
Shit. Sorry, Cloud. I tried. I tried. But they'll have more. I'll get you one. I'm going over there in a couple of weeks to pick up my All-Stars. So I'll see what they have. See if I can score something.
Can't wait
what else? But it was a good show overall, though. I mean, lots of good stuff, like the usual people there and
absolutely.
vendors.
Yo, I mean, when we talk about the
Losing you a
caliber,
little bit.
oh,
Volume
got
wise.
me, got me.
Can
Good.
hear you, but you're very low. I don't know what happened.
Let me see. How about now?
Yeah.
That's better.
Awesome. Yeah. When we talk about conventions and the quality of like a Legions Con convention,
Yep.
it was good. It was cozy. You saw our friends there. And they didn't have a shortage of great action figures outside of the Four Horsemen. Even I found some really good deals on some big needs like NECA. They cleaned them out day one because they were having
Yeah.
deal. They had the
NECA goes quick.
oh yeah, without a doubt. But when I got there on Sunday, there was no line. I literally walked up right to the Four Horsemen table and had a easy pick of anything I wanted. And I'm like, tactically, this was probably a good decision to not go on Saturday, but to go on Sunday. Yeah, you're gonna miss out on whatever they have in stock that's a bit rare, but you take your W's when you can. But I gotta say, it was no stress. The ventilation was incredible as usual.
Nice.
The nerd sweat and body odor that you can feel.
Yeah, it's hot, man.
That was absent. It smelled great in there. I don't want to sound like a creep, but it smelled great in there.
Yeah.
I was able to keep my coat on and still, not break a sweat. So, kudos to the team at the Fuge who really took into account the air conditioning.
Nice. Good.
I just saw this from Cloud. My wife and I are bringing tote bags in November. Well, Cloud, some people bring wagons. So
Wagons, yes.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Big tote bags. You're going to need big tote bags. All right. Let's move on because I got a couple other things that I want to talk about, but I want to get our guests out here tonight. Our guests tonight, no surprise, are a couple of talented toy photographers who just happen to focus a good amount on Mythic Legions. One is newer to the line, and one is kind of an old hand. Not that he's old. He's been around. A veteran, let me say. Pablo Lopez Jr. is a co-host critiquer on the Moz Toy Box channel, which I'm also on Tuesdays on Moz Toy Box. And Nate is the co-host along with Beef Starter, Prime to the First, on the Figure Booth channel, right here on YouTube. Please welcome Pablo Lopez Jr. and Nate Boyar. Boys,
what up?
What's going on? Fellas? Thank you for coming on, man. Nate, we finally got you on, man. Like Pablo too. Like I've been talking to you about getting on here for like forever, and but like Nate and I were talking since Legions Con, and we got to get you on. But like, if you don't know, Nate and Prime do the figure booth, or did do the figure booth every Monday at 9:00. So I would get to watch it, and I enjoyed watching it when we weren't on. But then when we were on, I could never get him on the show. So they have moved their schedule to every other Monday, which is the opposite of the Mondays that we're on. So you get to watch both those shows. So I say when we're not on, head on over there because it's a great show. These guys do a great job.
Really good show.
It's just a lot of fun, man. It's fun to be in that chat.
Yeah.
It's just
awesome.
Really, it's like. Yeah, it's great. Like they go through the news, but it's fun. Like it's not like we have to hit every topic. We're just just talk about what we want to talk about and lead wherever it goes. And sometimes it goes in some strange places. Not usually due to you guys, but the chat more so than anything else. And Pablo, you and I have a good time on Moz's show every Tuesday. So we go over some newer toy photographers' work and. I rip them up, and you're fairly nice about things. No, we're helpful. We're very helpful. It's
I mean, that's the point.
For real. Like it's fun to look at the stuff, and it's fun to look at people's progression, how they've gotten better over the years. Over the months, anyways. But it's great. So welcome, guys. This is our first toy photography focused show. Something I've been wanting to do for a while.
Took us to episode 43.
Yeah, I know. Just took 43 episodes. While you guys were on here, I did get permission to show a couple things. So before we jump into the questions and stuff like that, I want to share with everybody a couple of interesting pieces and get your reaction to them
Comes
as well.
the dragon. Get ready.
I'm gonna.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Oh,
big.
boy,
And look,
those
we got legs and arms.
Hey.
That's it. That's
It's a
all.
small dragon.
That's it. It's cool, right?
Is he gonna be a builder figure?
We have the
Oh my goodness.
Legion
wow.
figure, from the new retailer wave. You've seen the other figures over on the 4-ish o'clock Horsemen, and of course on Mythic Conversations. Jeremy had a couple of them, but I hung on to a couple of them, not purposefully, but just because I had to shoot some things for them. There's just a lot. This guy comes with a lot. I don't even have everything here, but he's
Beautiful.
got the sword, he's got the
So good.
arrows, he's got a bow over here. All very nicely color coordinated, of course.
Yeah, the
Plus the
color on
extra
that.
arms and legs that you can swap out, so you could have the black. I guess that's the way. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what this is. Like, this was a fan who reached out to a retailer, who then reached out to the Horsemen, and I think this happened quite a while ago, and just didn't come to fruition right away. And I don't know anything other than that. So, like, I know that he spec'd out like what he wanted it to look like, and he wanted these black arms and legs, and they put it together, and it looks pretty cool. But they wanted to give everybody the option of having, kind of something that fit in with the rest of the, the Xylonis flock figures and the elves and stuff like that. So, I mean, this could even go into.
Noble Bear.
You
Leodicius.
can go into Leodicius too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really got the red and the gold, so you could put that either way you wanted to. But yeah, cool. Removable helmet. That's
Wow.
what that looks like.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I'll zoom in on this on the good camera in a minute, because I know this camera isn't the greatest. You can't really see the detail, but
Do you
really
have
cool.
a Magnus handy that you can side by side?
yeah, sure. Yep, that's a good idea. Let me go grab.
Of course he
that.
does. It's Trevor.
Because according to Jeremy, the golds are not the exact same color, but they're close. That they
Yeah,
can.
real close. I heard one's
Yeah.
maybe. I heard this one maybe is a little shinier.
quite
but-
Yeah, I was
Right.
gonna say. I wonder if this
Yeah,
is a
this
little
one-
shinier.
Doesn't have quite the weathering, I think, that Magnus, or either they gave it a wash. So, I mean, in the light here, it's real close.
Yeah.
And again, this camera isn't the best. It's not picking up everything. Neither is the lighting here. But I gotta tell you, man, the only thing the only difference is it's a little less. It's not even the shininess. It looks like there's a wash on Magnus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit of a darker tone to the gold, whereas this is a little bit brighter. But other than that, they could stand next to each other, and unless you're really picking them apart, you couldn't tell. So this is going to be fun. I mean, it's the same chess piece, obviously, but there'll be some interesting swaps.
Yeah, this is the one I'm definitely gonna go down on getting a lot of.
Yeah,
It's like I want multiples of this.
It looks
And
so good.
then,
I almost
really
like
cool
how the
sculpt. Really
it's just-
nice. I don't know who this person is.
Yeah, they said
Yeah,
it was
I
somebody in China, I believe. I know there's speculation that it was Elliot, and then it was some other famous, like rap
Okay.
actor guy that I can't
Oh,
remember
really?
his name. But
Interesting.
I thought that remember it was some guy in China that had a link to a retailer out there.
I tried to see if there was anybody on the Cabal with any a name even.
It's just
I should do
this
that.
head scope. Out of all the head scopes that I've seen from Mythic Legions, it looks more realistic than any of
It
the
does.
other
It
ones.
looks very
Agreed.
real. Like it's definitely painted.
yeah.
Yeah, the paint's
Um,
beautiful.
Yeah, the paint job
This
is
is
beautiful.
there's your helmet,
I love that.
awesome.
and there's
You can use that
cool
as like
about
a
this
prop
helmet. I
piece,
will show you
too.
in a minute.
Yeah, great call,
Yeah,
Nate.
totally. I see Emil making a Rocketeer.
Yeah, I
something
can see
like
that. Yep.
That'd be
I guess
amazing.
I should show this side by side. I can show. It's probably better on this camera. You might be able to see the actual tone difference between them. You see it now?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's a little
Yeah.
bit.
So-
Mhm.
This is a little bit
Yeah.
darker.
It's pretty
Uh,
subtle though.
Trying to.
Yeah, it's very
there we
subtle.
go.
Yeah,
yeah,
Joe
real
V
subtle.
says the person this is based off of would like to remain anonymous at the moment.
That's
Okay.
very exciting. I'm very excited about
We'll
that.
figure it out.
Yeah,
We'll-
and
we'll
so
We'll
yeah, he
have to-
goes on sale with the others on Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah, this coming Wednesday. So I had to put a little tack on here. That's the nature of. Then you
Oh, that
also
orc head.
get.
Yeah, that orc cave is
So
Man.
nice. I love the coloring on it.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, it's tight.
Now that's technically a half orc, correct?
Technically a half orc.
Huh.
And what's great is
I was just about to ask. Does that helmet?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep, I'm sold.
Yeah, look at this.
Sweet.
Holy moly.
Yep.
Check
look
that
at
out.
That.
How
Those
good does that
eyes.
look?
That looks so good.
Wow.
That changes.
That looks killer.
Yep.
I almost like
So-
how the armor, I love Magnus's armor, but I like how this is a bit cleaner. It makes it look a bit
Mhm.
more metallic to me.
Mhm.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, because it's in, well, I mean, this is a half orc, but because the main character is an elf, it just, I see this fitting in with the elves, even though it's got the red and gold. And it just, I could see the elves, obviously, they're polishing up their armor.
For
Mhm.
sure.
Or they have some magic to do it or something like that.
So-
Those guys.
So would this make it the third or
Not this
fourth
stuff, sorry.
hero orc?
I mean, it's not a named orc, so I'm trying to think. Who else have we got on the hero side for orcs?
Because we have the one that was green
Seems like-
flocked, right?
Yep.
That's a hero orc, and then
Sir Ujak is the only non-human denomination I could think of that's on the good side, but I can't think of any good orcs.
Just the
No,
one we're
and
getting with Poxus wave.
and
yeah,
Bryophytus
the
is-
shaman, right? The
Yeah.
shaman orc is a
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, the shaman orc. Bryophytus is not really. I mean, technically not in the lore, right? Like the Mythic
Right.
Legions, or not the Motu characters are like they're given a faction or something like that, but I don't know if they're actually.
Even then, he's technically a fungi.
He's technically- at this point,
He is a fun guy. We've hung out.
he's great. So that's your elf. Yeah, really dig that orc helmet. And
Yeah,
I
man.
don't know if it's. I mean, I'm. If you got any of these laying around, it's going to fit anything. You could swap out the hands, and you can make the Saphiri orc and have the helmet on top of that, and dirty it up or something like that. So
It's
it's gonna be really cool, man. Really
Yeah,
versatile.
that's gonna be one of the top ones for sure.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And we also have.
Hero's got all the goodies.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Ah.
Is
Oh
Man, he
my
looks.
Blue Hagnon next to original Hagnon.
Wow.
Green Hagnon. So yeah, he glows green, but they not only made him glow blue, but they tinted it blue. So
Mhm.
it's got a completely different look, and I really like it. I feel like it's more in line with like the zombie pack that we're getting.
The
Yes.
undead. Yeah.
Is he
Exactly.
beefier, or is it because of the shoulder pauldrons that he looks beefier than the
No,
other?
I
one?
think it's just because of the shoulder pauldrons. I
Oh,
never
okay.
put the shoulder pauldrons
Oh, okay.
on. Yeah, if I take this off, I think I can get this off. Yeah, it's the same. It's
Oh,
literally
okay.
it's the
All
same
right.
body.
I was like, man, he
Everything-
looks. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is the same. It's all the same parts.
Yeah.
I am assuming, although I don't even know yet, if you're getting this helmet, I'm gonna assume you're getting the helmet. You did with Hagnon, and I'm thinking this is just a complete, reissue of Hagnon in a different color. So you get the ball and chain, you get the rusty sword, which I love these rusty.
So
Love
was
these
the
rusty
original
weapons.
Hagnog part of the original lore?
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
So is this one gonna be part of the lore?
yeah.
or is
Jeremy
that the
just
figure
said the other
obscura?
day that he is going to write. They're going to work on writing like something new to, so that it's just not
Oh, okay.
Hagnon but blue. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it's going to be a new character, and they're calling it Blue Hagnon, so it's Hagnon. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I think they're just going to update and embellish his bio.
Nice.
is that what they said?
I think it's going to be the same character, but he's just going to add more to it and embellish it. I believe
It's like
that's
a
how I understand
transformation or something like that.
Yeah,
I think is
yeah.
what he
Just
was talking
explain it.
about.
He's just become such an iconic kind of character in the lore. They just want to give him his due now. I think as far as
It's his blue period. That's all. Just like Picasso.
Blue adds some really nice contrast
Yeah,
to
that
bring out
blue.
those details.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's cool. Gathers light completely
I
different.
really dig it
Yeah.
over. I mean, I always liked Hagnon, but
Right.
as soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh yeah, man, this is really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's got more of a spectral, like I think for photography, and that's what we're talking about tonight. I think this
Right.
is going to come across
Yeah, when you
even
shine the
lit
light
up from the
through it.
back
Oh
as
yeah.
more ghostly and more like spirit than even Hagnon did.
Yeah, it looks
Hagnon
more
tended
at least
to
on my monitor.
to
He
get
looks
very
more
bright
green.
and white. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What's that, Nate?
He looks more green than blue to me, at least on my monitor. I don't know why.
It's a
right
blue
now, but-
green.
Yeah.
It's a blue green, but it will glow blue.
Every time you say
but
glow
it's-
blue, I get a shiver. It just sounds like you're saying go blue, which as a Spartan, I just can't.
blow glue or anything like that. But,
Blow glue.
yeah, very cool. So, what do you guys think of those? Are you guys picking these up or?
For sure.
Oh,
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah. I'm for sure the Headless Horseman, and I'm gonna have to pick up at least, if I can possibly get 6 of those of the orc and
Hagnon?
I need a
6.
Going hard.
Damn.
usually when I army build, I normally want at least 3, but with that figure, the way it looks, I need 6. Like,
So-
because
The walkability is just
it's just
crazy, man.
Yeah, I was
But
already
you're-
sold on the
Pablo-
Elite Guard, but seeing it here, I definitely am going to get a few more.
Yeah. I think it's cool, man. I think it's a good army builder. I probably army build them for, it is like it's a 2.0 elf, which is the only other one we had was Lord Bardrick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's another 2.0 body. I'm sorry, 1.0 body, not a 2.0. It's a 1.0 elf. So, I mean, you could throw it in there too. It's just the red and the gold really fit in with the Leodiscus.
Yeah, the color combination is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love the black on the shield too. It's so
Mhm.
badass
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah,
It
really nice.
I mean, that's an elf
Actually,
shield, but still.
Is it $50 for that for the elf?
I think that's 50.
Which is
Um,
incredible because for that price you're getting an extra head and an extra set of limbs. That's a
Yep,
steal.
Extra set of limbs.
that's a
you know what I
steal,
mean?
yeah.
You get the black,
Mhm.
you
Right.
get all the black limbs there as well to go with it. And there are pictures up of that look, and it looks, it's got a cool look. I don't hate that look. I just tend to like the armored look better.
Agreed.
Yeah, if I don't
Um,
get 6, for sure I'm gonna have 3. Like I need to have the 3.
3 minimum.
Yeah, 3 minimum, because it's easier for me to build a huge army with 3 figures in a photo with Photoshop. As long as I have 3, because I can pose each one differently, and then
Then
just
you can move
as
them around
right.
and build it up. Yeah.
But I always tell
Isn't that
people to get 3. Like if you want an army build, just get 3 figures, and you can make an infinite army with just 3 figures, because you can just constantly just repose them and just move them.
Yeah.
Just as long
Yeah.
as you don't move your camera.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the great thing about like toy photography, as opposed to having to army build them because you want an army on the shelf.
Mhm.
Right.
You only need you only need 3.
Yep.
It's
And then
funny.
you can
that's
have an
how-
army of 12 if you
Yeah.
want.
That's how I started out. I'm like, I don't need bodies for every one of these third-party heads I'm getting. I don't need them because I'll swap them out in photos. But then I
Yeah.
see all my heads sitting there. I'm like, no, I need bodies. The next thing I
Yeah.
know, I'm like buying way more figures than I had originally planned on getting.
Yeah, for the Panther head coming out in the head pack,
Mhm.
that's another
Oh,
idea
right
too.
on.
You know what I mean? Like you could do some pretty cool combinations there.
Yep.
You could have
On that gold body with the
an
black
armored
limbs.
gold Panther, like that.
Mhm.
could-
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
You know that's coming up in the pop and swap contest
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure, man. That's
yeah.
totally happening.
Yeah.
Now, are these
Uh,
guys? What's the ETA on them? Is it a 6-month
thanks,
period
Frenchie.
or a year? Oh, that we have to wait for these.
I don't know if they've said yet.
Okay,
but
I was
I'm
wondering.
gonna. I mean, this is a wave as opposed to being, but it is. There's a few new parts here. Obviously, that helmet is a new part.
And that
the
head,
sculpt
for sure, yeah.
is a new piece. Other than that, everything else is standard or has been done already. The Headless Horseman, the Father Christmas. So I don't know. I don't know if they've said, and they haven't told me, and I haven't asked. So
I think
I
I've
would
heard
guess
that
within the year.
I think I've heard they wanted them out by the holiday season.
By the
this year,
holidays, yeah.
But
Yeah.
they always give the caveat that you never know. It's the way the world works now, shipping and delays and everything else. But that's the goal.
The goal.
Yeah, you can't
the-
rely on that, but I think that is the goal, Nate. To
The
get
post
this out
says,
so that
late
people have like the
Q4.
Headless Horseman for Halloween, and then the Father Christmas for Christmas. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, all
nice.
at once,
Q4.
like have them all out at the same time. So,
Hey Trev, quick
Nate.
question on the gold elf real quick. Those
Mhm.
pauldrons, are those a resized 2.0 or is that a 2.0 kind of jammed onto the 1.0 body?
what are you talking about? The
Yeah.
limbs?
Well, the pauldrons on the
Oh, the
elf.
pauldrons. Nah, yeah, these are 2.0 kind of put on a 1.0 body, and they pretty much work. I mean, that doesn't always work out in terms of reaching over. You know what I mean? And it's a tight fit, but they're there, and they look pretty good.
Yeah, good iron stuff.
Yeah. They don't fit the same way. They don't come all the way over, but I kind of like that they're out of the way a little bit, in the front.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more of like a light armor, kind of like that.
Feels more of a scope too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So these go on sale Wednesday, right, Nate? That's what you said?
That's when they start. Yep, March 1.
At your favorite Mythic Legions official retailer.
I don't know if I've heard that how long that order period's going to be. I don't know if it's a month or what, but
yeah, I don't think it's a big window because obviously they have to get these orders in and they want to get them going, and I'm sure they're already going into production to some degree, but like they because they always have extras. But I don't know how much they're doing with that. I don't know what the deal with being a retailer only wave. Obviously, the Horsemen aren't selling them, but I don't know if after the wave is over, they'll probably have some of those because I think they've had the Red Krampus and things like that.
Because was there a window, an order period for the Red Krampus? I don't remember.
Yeah, there was a window. I believe
there was a window. Okay,
I
don't remember.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if anybody remembers, or Joe, if you're in there in the chat and you remember what the deal was with that, or if you know anything about it, if you're allowed to say.
Yeah, Kevin Booth says March 31st. Mitch follows up thinking it's a month. So yeah,
I think it's about a month. I think that's what I remembered. I think it ends like April something. So
good timing with the refund checks.
Yeah, right.
Because I'll be mad.
Yeah. Finally, right? Something.
Yeah, something, right?
Yeah, something positive.
Something positive. So I'm going to jump over to Nate first. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this, and then while you're doing that, I'm going to jump up to your Instagram account and take a look at some of your work here. How did you? Well, let's take it this way. Let's go from the base to the more specific. How did you get into toy photography? Were you doing photography prior to this, or was this your first foray into it?
Yeah, so Instagram is what exposed me to toy photography. One of the first reviewers I ever discovered was The Amazing, and I always appreciated not only his ability to break down a figure, but also the way that he would pose and do the shots. And I would always stay to the end just to watch the shots. The way that he would sell the action, things like that. When I started my Instagram account, it was called MB Toys, and it was really just me sharing my collection, trying to find other people I could trade with, that kind of thing. I wasn't really into toy photography, but through Instagram and through The Amazing, I started discovering other people that were doing toy photography. I'm like, what's this all about? And it made me inspired to want to try it myself. I'd always wanted some kind of way. We collect all this stuff, but how can I appreciate it more? How can I quote unquote play with it or break it out of the box and do something with it? So I think toy photography gives me that freedom to where when I buy something, I can actually break it open. I can mess with it. I can pose with it. I can put it in different scenes. Kind of like when I was a kid, with toys, just building scenes and trying to create my own kind of environment. I started really loving it, that side of it, because I could meld my love of toys with being able to do something tangible. So it was just after that, I started learning more about how to shoot and getting deeper into photography, and it kind of just stemmed from there. And then as things went on, I'd seen Legions a lot, and I tried to resist the line for a while, even though I was very interested. But I just was collecting too much, and I talk about some of the shows sometimes in the figure booth. Is I'm trying to manage the collection as much as I can, so not collecting too much. I'm trying to stay as focused. But my good friend Sir Chappie 13 Cody, who's part of the Cabal, he ended up sending me an thier, and it was all history from there.
Oh, nice.
Once I got that figure in hand, I was just blown away. And then Krampus had went up really recently after that, so I purchased Krampus, and then the Poxus wave went up, and I went all in on Poxus, and it's been a money pit ever since. But I wouldn't trade it. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the line.
You're literally doing a show with an enabler, an official enabler, who isn't. This is the only thing he's not enabling you to do.
Yeah, I'm more enabling him now.
You're enabling him on a regular basis, yeah, and we've almost got him, man. I think we're just about. He's on the precipice, I think.
Oh, he's there for sure.
Is he there?
Yeah, I think he's.
Is he getting into Cosmic? I forget.
No, he didn't get any Cosmic, but I told him, I said, just wait until you see, some of these Cosmic, man. You're going to change your tune.
Yeah, the Cosmic ones are. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
There's a great use of that Dio too. I love that.
Oh yeah, that Dio's great. BBTS, I think might still have it. Fairly simple, but it works good. Great for tight shots like this.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. So that's how. So that was my follow up. Like how you got into the line. So you just kind of. So yeah, it's interesting. Like some people, are you creative? Like on the in your daily life, is that part of what you do, or is it like just something you need to do? Outside of work and everything else. I mean, were there other creative pursuits that you had before you got into toy photography?
Honestly, I'm in my day job, it's very just numbers, do a lot of analysis, and so there's not a whole lot of creativity there. And I didn't really have a creative outlet except for collecting toys and kind of doing that thing before. Obviously, I play video games, things like that, but nothing where I could really express my creative muscle.
Right.
So toy photography offered that to me, and it's, I think, part of the reason why I got so into it is because I could really invest creatively and do something that's unique and like, hey, I created this myself. This was my idea. I did everything behind the scenes to make this possible. So yeah, I didn't really have a whole lot of creative outlets before toy photography came along. I think that's part of the reason why I got so into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like it's either you're a creative person who's kind of stifled or whatever with what you do, during the day, or you're this is it for you. You know what I mean? Which is cool, and this is amazing. It's really for everybody, and I'm really happy to see a lot more people getting into it these days. We see a lot of it, Pablo and I, on Tuesdays. More and more people jumping in and trying it out, and it's cool. And it's amazing how many people like learn now. Like at least when I started out, like there was a community, there was a good amount of people doing it, but you didn't see a lot of, newer people getting exposure, you know what I mean? And now like there's people coming out of the box, like boom. I'm like, holy, who's this guy? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah, the wealth of information now is great too. There's a lot of people that are sharing info, and when I was first getting started, I didn't really know where to look. So I would like Google things, look at YouTube videos, try to figure out whatever I could on my own, and then try to DM people. But yeah, now it's great. Even channels like your own, Trevor, with the shoot and review, that stuff is incredibly helpful, just to kind of understand how people do different lighting. How do you approach a shot a certain way, or sell action or something like that? Yeah, there's just so much info out there now. It's great.
And it's cool. And you do the BTS on yours, and like I like this kind of stuff. Like here's the thing, like that's what I say all the time. Like none of us really invented any of this stuff. We may have come up with it, like unbeknownst to us, that had been. But I mean, a lot of this stuff, and some of the stuff that you've been featuring, that Jason Work More or Less is doing. It's techniques that have been out there, but like share it, you know what I mean? Let people learn about it and understand what you do, because it's not a trade secret necessarily. You know what I mean? There's a few things I do in post-production that I'm not going to, necessarily give out. But I mean, those kind of little things are like where your signature stuff comes in, you know what I mean? And this stuff is not, it's not, it's not a trade secret. You can go to I tell people to go out and watch videos on portraiture and product photography, and you're going to learn stuff from there.
Yep. I think a lot of it, it's about experimentation too, I think some people assume, hey, if I buy a nice camera and I buy the best lights, I'm going to be, a 1.6 shooter or a Corona 4. And while that will help, you have to kind of experiment and learn what works, what doesn't work, how to get lighting correct, sort of how to build a scene, that kind of stuff. It's stuff that you just really can't read in an article or watch even a YouTube video. You sort of just have to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And have the passion to continue to keep trying.
I find composition is something like that. It's a very hard thing to teach because like outside of like rule of thirds or the the golden ratio, which most people don't get, you know what I mean? Like it's a hard concept to grasp. Like just getting to the point where you have a natural feel for composition like this, you know what I mean? Like just knowing what works in a photo and what angle and when to just give it a little bit of a tilt like this. Right. You know what I mean? This isn't a full-on Dutch angle, but it takes you from the guy's sitting in a chair, like just a little bit of an angle gives it a little more interest and action and just it takes you, just stuff like that is very, it's learned through, like you said, just play, experiment, try, especially when you're starting out, just don't even worry about putting your stuff out there. And if you're open to, I would say go and like, don't bug everybody, but like, ask some accounts that you like, once, maybe twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
be respectful.
Hey, can you give me some tips? Like here's some, I'd love some, just some tips or a little bit of critique on my work. And if you're open to it and, that person is somebody who's good at doing that, because it's not easy sometimes to be that sort of teacher and stuff, but give it a shot, man. Like people are willing to help in this community. They really, really are. So amazing stuff, man. And
just like you're saying, Nate, for those who don't do it, it just adds a whole new level to the collecting world. I mean, rather than just opening up something and stick it on your shelf, you just get so much more engaged with your toys, and it's to me, it's just a brand new world to play around and experiment, and I love it. So it's great to hear sharing that same passion.
I mean, we invest so much money and time into collecting. It's nice to be able to do something with all of that time and that money that I spend, like, hey, this is the fruits of the labor. This is why I'm going out and hunting this stuff. So now I can create these images, which is the fun stuff, collecting and hunting is fun, but for me, toy photography is where the real passion is.
Yep. So I agree.
I've got a follow-up question to that, but I want to bring up some Pablo stuff, and I want to ask you both that same question. I'll see if I can remember what the hell it is by the time we get to it. So my memory's not what it used to be.
We'll remind you if we remember.
Just like talking about, like, basically, we'll get into it. I don't want to jump ahead, but like, how you collect and is it mainly for this hobby? So we'll come back to that. But Pablo, I want to share some stuff from your Instagram. So that is at figurefan_Nate for Nate, and Pablo is at PL_toybox_photography. I wish there was another word for underscore that was a little less.
Yeah, I know, right? A little, yeah.
So hate 16 shooter, but 16 shooter is now available. It wasn't when I got it, but now if I switch that over, I got to change everything everywhere. Every link that goes to it's just like, nah, I can't do it. I don't know why they won't give you the option to just like pay for the other one and like have that forward too. Whatever. What are you gonna do? Look at you. Already jumping on the AWOC.
I love these figures, man.
They are great, man. Yeah, I just took out Pale the other day.
I just got the rest of my other order today. So
nice.
I got Kali and the Legionnaire were the only two that I was missing.
Oh yeah. Pale here.
Yeah, Pale.
They're really, really nice, man.
Yeah, those look great.
Really good figures.
It mixes so well with Legions too.
It does.
For the uninitiated, if you didn't collect Legions or AWOC, you'd be like, "Wait, is this the same line? Like, what line of figures is this?"
I mean, look at this. I mean, look at the color wise. Like, this is awesome, man.
Perfect.
It blends so.
I'm wondering. Ooh, maybe we should try it right here and now. Just popping off heads. Have you tried popping and swapping a head, Pablo?
Not with the Legions yet. I was thinking about doing that.
Okay.
With these two, with Magnus and these two, I was gonna.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Swap
right?
heads. Yeah, I haven't done it. I had thought about it after I took the shot.
I'm gonna try it right now.
And I also want to get a custom soft goods cape for Atreyu. I think he needs one.
I do not. Really cool. We're gonna jump back to your stuff in a minute. I just want to see if this works. Actually, maybe
I'll
try to
watch this.
Yeah, exactly. I wish I had a beer to hold. Okay, well,
I'm not sure if the socket's the same size.
Sorry, I'm on the wrong camera here. Hang on a second. No, the socket is definitely wider. It's much you can see. Like, like that little. You see the little. Yeah, that's it, and you can tell the ball joint is just enormous. But a little tack, and it does sit at the right height. You know what I mean?
Oh, yep. I got ideas now.
It's just tack, man. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. Now I don't know. No, they have a different neck. They have a whole different neck.
Yeah, the neck system is
part
different.
Of the body. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because it articulates at the bottom of the neck.
I mean, if you did want to take and make a custom, that's an easy drill out. I would say with a Dremel or something to get that to really sit on there. But it might actually go too low because the neck.
I think the height is perfect.
Perfectly.
Actually. Yeah,
it looks really well.
Actually sits perfect.
Oh, he looks so good.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
I think sales of AWOC, if they weren't already high, just went.
It's got a huge surge, guys. Where did that come from?
I feel bad for Jason. I was like, so many orders I can ship out.
Like, what happened? What the hell did you guys do? Shoot, I lost my screen here. Hang on a second. Let me go back to Pablo's. There we go. And you do a lot of behind the scenes stuff too. Oh no, well, sometimes you do.
Sometimes
Not all
I
the
do.
time.
Yeah,
You do some.
I do a lot of collabs. A lot of the Mythic Legion photos are collabs.
I love Pablo's behind the scenes. They always start off with his signature Pablo intro.
I know, that's a TikTok thing, man. That's how I really got introduced to Pablo stuff, is on TikTok a lot with the
my head nod.
Oh, I'm not on the screen now, but you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, little head nod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know it's about to be real.
That's right. So you're loving these guys, right?
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm digging them too, man.
They are a lot of fun.
I'm gonna get to shoot them next. There it is.
Yeah, my tribute to
there it is.
To Frank Frazetta.
I was loving these Frazetta things, man. These were really, really cool.
Yes.
These great interpretations.
Good mix with the gargoyles too.
I know, right?
Yeah, you always do a good mix.
Thank you,
Jonathan. It was dope meeting and hanging out with Pablo at Legions.
Likewise, man. Yes, it was fun. Yeah, Legions was a blast.
Cool. Thank you, Jonathan.
Cannot wait. Thanks, Jonathan. Hope you're feeling better, man. Yeah, here we go. All right, here we go. Look at this. There we go.
Oh wow.
So now this is your custom?
No, this custom was done by a Kingpin Customs.
Lenny. Yeah, okay.
Lenny. Yeah, he sent me a few figures to photograph. I still need to photograph 3 more or 4 more, and then I'm gonna send them back. But
this is one of them.
I was with Lenny this weekend. Outstanding dude.
Yeah, he's awesome. Mm-hmm. Love hanging out with him.
Too.
And he's got some nice stuff coming up, man. He's been printing some really nice scopes and stuff. So
these are the McFarlane wings, right? From the
yeah,
I can't remember that name of that.
The
Redeemer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Redeemer. Yep. Very, very cool. You've got a real ACBA style for sure, man. Like that's right in your blood. You know what I mean? And I know you've been breaking out and doing some different stuff, man. But I think it works, and I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just like keeping those backgrounds like really clean. This is nuts, man. This was so good, dude.
That was a challenging one.
And the idea that like I didn't even think I'm like, how did he get a female moose?
Yeah, when you asked me, like, where did you get the moose from? I was like, it's the same moose.
Like, is that a statue? Did you find a moose statue in the same scale, like laying down? It's like, no, the limbs are like basically, taken apart, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, is that how you did it? And then you took
actually, when I was playing around with the concept, I took the legs off to figure out how I can pose it.
Okay.
But then, so she's sitting it's sitting on top of a little tier of foam.
Right. So it's
foam stones.
It's lowered.
It's lowered.
And then the ground is brought up over it, right? Yeah.
Right. So the limbs are still on. I was able to pose them in a way because I was doing research on how
moose. So this is just bent?
Down. It's just bent. Yeah.
I thought you actually took it off and like laid it on the ground there.
It's actually bent. Like all the limbs are on there.
Interesting.
I found a photo of a moose laying down like this, and it worked. And I was like, "Oh, I can do it." So that's what I ended up doing. I got the inspiration from that.
Yeah. See, this is great stuff. Like this is when, like you say, like you can't. We can't because I did have this idea to do something with like Father Christmas in a snow scene and just have the moose kind of laying there, and I'm like, I tried making it lay down and. stupidly, I didn't even think about that. Like I could have, just brought everything up and just had it like kind of stuff, especially in snow. You'd never even see the limbs.
Yeah, I had the same idea to do with Father Christmas. But I saw so many shots already with that figure, and then I didn't have a moose at the time, so I was hunting for a moose, and then I found.
I think that's illegal.
Yeah, I found one on rabbitsomething.com. I paid a little too much for that one, and then someone messaged me on the Cabal that they were available on Amazon for $89, and I jumped on the second one, so I ended up getting 2 mooses back to back. Like they came within the same week. So then I was like, I thought of doing this shot, and then
I like this one. Just like it is just a nature scene, which is awesome.
So cool.
Great storytelling.
Yeah,
we got a super chat in from Aristotle. What was everyone's first camera for toy photography?
Oh, all right, that's a cool
Great
question. Interrupt this stream with to answer that question. Pablo, since you're up, you want to?
Well, so I've been doing photography in general about 17 years now. So my degree, I have a bachelor's degree in computer graphic design and photography. And so I've been doing that for a while, and I've been doing toy photography for about 10 plus years. So when I started toy photography, I started with the camera I started photography with, which was a Nikon D40. That's what I started off with. And I used that throughout college. And then I ended up upgrading from that to a D7000. And now I'm currently shooting with the mirrorless Z5.
There you go.
It's always been Nikon. Yeah. Yeah, the mirrorless one is gorgeous. That camera's
so perfect. Good. Yeah, look at that. That's so hot. So that was my question to Nate before, and you would start. You have a photography background. You have a graphics background and photography background. So you started kind of there, and then moved into toy photography from there.
Yeah.
Nate, what are you rocking these days, and what did you start out with? What do you?
Yeah. On the flip side from Pablo, I had no background at all. So my first exposure to photography was really toy photography. I started with my phone, and then when I got a bit more serious, when I felt like, okay, this is something I'm going to invest more time and money into, I upgraded to a Nikon D3200, which is pretty much an entry level, camera, I would say. It's nice because it comes with 2 kit lenses. So you get like a longer range and then more of a close-up lens, and use that for a good 6 or 7 years to really learn as much as I could before I upgraded to my camera that I have now, which is a Sony A7 Mark III.
Oh, you jumped over to Sony. I was going to say, man, got all the Nikon people here. You jumped over to Sony.
Yeah, I'm
in bad company.
I can't blame you. It's a good camera. It's a good
beautiful camera. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is.
I don't know if it's as good as the Nikon mirrorless, but it's good. I don't know. It's if you need moving focus in case you're, in case your fingers fall over or something. I suppose.
Yeah, I should really be recording with it, but I don't.
Yeah, that's mine sitting right there.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I should be doing.
It's a pain though. It's a pain to set up and like take down every time you want to shoot.
Yeah,
because you could do that with your your DSLR. You can do it with your mirrorless, but just to have to take that apart every time and set it back up again is a nightmare.
Yes,
these are cool. I know you were getting into doing these posters for a while.
Yeah,
so cool.
I love this.
I love that.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And that's your graphic background coming in. Yep.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some more. I have some more planned out, especially with the Furious. I have some individual ones for that I want to do some posters for.
This is a great pose with the bow.
Really,
you really nailed that.
Yeah, and the composite stuff you do with one figure with 3 or 4 or 5 different.
Yeah, I was showing some of those. Yep, with the.
Yeah, it was really neat.
He's a movie.
Did you?
Yeah. Like I want to go see that movie.
It looks like a recruitment poster or something.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
again,
the whole
composition, man, is like it's a. Well, you have a background, so you've been doing photography in composition and graphics is all goes hand in hand. So you got that.
Yeah. So like everything I learned from photography, like I just downscaled it to toy. So
That's
like
it.
I implement the same techniques I would have used in people portraits and kids and like so.
Yeah, I mean this is what I tell people and this is what we've been telling like not gonna, well, Casper on the Maz's show, like just like simple stuff like this, and this looks simple, but the lighting here is more complex than you'd think. I mean, it's straightforward, but getting it to look right and getting it in the right position when you start out like that and just do that, just get this down. Forget about action scenes. Forget about multiple figures and stuff. Just this is a beautiful shot. Like, just take a cool looking shot of your figure as if it was a human being and they wanted a portrait done. I love these things.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're shooting maybe 1/6 scale, I'd say Legions take some of the best portraits of any out there.
I agree.
6-inch, 7-inch figures, hell yeah.
Yep.
Very photogenic.
You can get in really tight and they still look really good.
Yep.
Yeah. Amazing stuff.
So Nate, I was going to ask you, before you got into Legions, you shot quite a lot of different things, a lot of DC stuff, a lot of Batman, a lot of Mezco stuff. How did you find, once you started shooting Legions, what are some of the things that you liked about getting them in front of your camera as opposed to different lines?
Yeah, great question, because I was very comfortable in the comics realm of figures, Marvel, DC, lots of Batman, that kind of stuff. Like you said, Mezco. So Legions felt a bit intimidating at first, just because it was so different than what I was used to shooting. But like you guys were talking about with Legions, the detail on those figures was really fun to get behind the camera, because then you start getting the lighting and you're messing with it. You start popping out different details, and that I really enjoyed and made me actually appreciate the line a bit more, because, on some, like I'd say Marvel Legends, not bad figures at all, but they just don't have that same level of detail. And for the price point that you're getting from Legions, it's just it really kind of blew me away. Like I said, I got that Thier in hand, and just all the details on the pauldrons and his armor, and you get it behind the camera. You can get his head flame to kind of really start shining. You can put the flame on his sword, and I think just exploring kind of what scenes to create and what details I wanted to capture was really fun. Very different, like I said, than what I was used to doing. I did a lot of city scenes, that kind of thing. So I had to figure out, okay, how am I going to get these to look in a believable environment? You know what I mean?
Right.
78, I think he's still in the chat. I grabbed a couple of dinos from him, which really helped.
Yeah.
He makes amazing stuff.
This is actually Prime's dio,
yeah,
right?
This is Prime's dio. Yeah, the deluxe.
This is the basic. Is this one of the ones he was selling for?
This one. Yeah, this one was, I think, 125. This was one of the bigger ones.
Came with okay. So I was bigger than the other ones. Okay.
Yeah, and the bottom
very
piece.
Nice.
Yeah,
it was really good.
He very kindly sent me that for Christmas, so I had to take a shot with it.
Nice.
Nice.
And a calendar, I understand.
Yes, and a calendar, which I got right over here. It's the only calendar I use, Trevor.
Ask for it by name. Yeah, that's the.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask how much have you dove into any of the lore of Legions? Have you
a lot?
Have you?
Yeah. Okay. Source Horsemen, I go to constantly, and when I was first starting out, people were mentioning figures. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Let me go to Source Horsemen and figure out. So I was so thankful that they had that kind of website, because a lot of the times the lore is on the back of a figure box, and that's the only time you're going to be able to read that. So the fact that they have that on the website makes it really easy for me to kind of dive back into the history and figure out who connects with who, and which figures do I really want to invest in. But yeah, I've been diving in a lot into the lore, and then when I talk to Cody, Sir Chappie 13, he's always educating me on something. Who does this figure connect with?
That's why I'm looking forward to that book.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to that book.
Trevor, we both said this in the beginning too. It was nice that this, at the same time, and it didn't have a super well established kind of history. So you could feel free to do anything you wanted. Not that you can obviously now, but there's a little bit more freedom, liberty to shoot in these, but once, if you choose to get into the lore, it's there, and it's getting deeper all the time, and it's fantastic. So I'm always curious to find out how you approach that stuff. So like Pablo, with you, what's your kind of connection to all that?
So for me with Mythic Legions, I didn't get into the Mythic Legions until Cosmic. Before that, I've known about Mythic Legions. I just never pulled the trigger at the time. Like I couldn't figure out how I can implement that in what I was collecting at the time. Because I was mainly collecting Lego minifigures for a long time, and that's what I started photographing at first. Before I got into Instagram, I was on another website called Flickr. And that's where the majority of my Lego minifigure photography.
I loved
is at.
Flickr.
Oh, okay.
Flickr was awesome until it got.
I wish
out,
Flickr would come back
it.
because Flickr was the best way to view photographs ever.
I loved it, and then they changed and they made
nobody
so
there.
many rules, and everybody's gone. So that's where I started off, and then I jumped onto Instagram. I posted a few of the photos that I had on Flickr onto Instagram, but then I hit the realization that I was spending too much money on minifigures that only had 5 points of articulation, if that. And I stopped, and then I got into Marvel Legends, and that's where I started off with the 1/12 scale. But then someone had told me about Mythic Legions, but I couldn't find the right ones at the time, and I didn't know where to start. And then when they introduced Cosmic Legions, I was all on board on those because they looked amazing, and that whole sci-fi theme. Like I already have plans of what I want to shoot as soon as I get those figures. So then I said, well, you know what? Let me see what the figures are like because I can compare it to with the Mythic Legions, and they should be roughly about the same. So the first one I purchased was the Skeleton Legion builder off of BBTS. As soon as I got the thing on my hand, I ordered like 4 more.
Right.
The following day.
That skeletons, they're sellers, man. I gotta tell you, like that's the first one I got too. I got
versatile with all kinds of lines too.
Keltis. I accidentally bought 3 Keltis, and lucky for me. I know. Oops.
Oops.
No, really, I got the card. I'm like, I didn't want 3 of these guys, and later on, I was like,
no, maybe I did. Maybe I did.
I guess so. But you open that thing up and you start playing with it, and you're like, oh my god, this is all like Ray Harryhausen that I loved as a kid. Like watching those old movies and stuff like that. Just wanting to have an action figure of a skeleton like that.
And I had known about like Frank Frazetta stuff also, so that kind of brought that nostalgia also because my father used to collect Conan the Barbarian magazines, the magazine size, not the comic book size, but the magazine size.
Perfect.
And so a lot of that artwork kicked in, and so I was like, these are perfect. I can I had plenty of ideas, so I needed more and more. And then I started backtracking on a few Mythic Legions. One of my favorite ones is Snag. I'm so happy I was able to find one at a decent price.
Such a great character. Yeah.
Juno is another great one, and I'm glad I have 2 and I customized one.
The classic fantasy woman. Hey, just quick shout out to T. Belay here, $4.99. What an awesome crew tonight. You guys are all a huge inspiration. Can't wait to hang again at LegionsCon 23.
Yes.
Absolutely, Thomas. Can't wait to see you again.
Thanks, Thomas.
Right on.
Man. It is. These going to be great. And I really want to do I want to talk about toy photography. I got to figure something out. I want to get some more people involved with some of the panels because I think that could be
that'd be cool.
Really cool. Something more along the lines with what Wolf King Customs did with the the pop and swap. It's easy like that, but I would always almost kind of like to have some setups or something and have a bunch of you guys there and just helping people figure out how to take a shot or something like that. If we can get some simple dios or something like that, either borrow them or whatever.
So recently I did a live tutorial of bouncing light because we always get asked what bouncing light is.
Yep.
So I went ahead and did 2. The first one was okay, and then someone had messaged me and said, "Can you do another one, but without the dial and just focus on the figure and the lighting?" So I did a second one doing that, and I used Pale for that.
Nice.
And a lot of people actually found it kind of helpful about the bouncing light because a lot of people don't know what we mean when we say bounce the light.
We talk about that all the time on Monza's show. It's just it's such a basic thing, and I it's weird because most of my not weird, but I use it all the time, obviously in every shot. But I think I'm consciously not talking too much about it in every video at this point because I just say go back and watch some of my other videos where I talk about it extensively, as if it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But it is a huge thing that people miss out on, I think, when they're just lighting things up brightly. Yeah. As far as dials go, I did want to bring this up again too, Nate, that like something like this is a a simple, straightforward dio. It's beautifully done, but you don't have to go nuts and like get one and just there's different ways to light this. Again, this has got a door. You're backlighting it through the door. You could do it outside the door, coming into an area or whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be. Don't get crazy. Just keep it simple.
Right.
Nice, simple environment for it when you're starting out, and really concentrate on getting the lighting right. And
for tight
posing,
shots,
and then from there, there's different composition and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like what would your little bit of advice for somebody just starting out? Like what do you think they should focus on initially?
I always tell them to focus on lighting. Because in all honesty, it doesn't matter what the equipment you have. You can have the top of the line camera, the most expensive lens, but if your lighting if you don't understand how to manipulate lighting, how to control lighting, no matter how you shoot with what you shoot with, it's not gonna be a great shot.
True.
You have to understand lighting. That's the key thing to photography. In all photography is lighting. Learning how to bounce a light, how to flag a light. How to use the shadows. It's not so much about lighting the figure, but you also need to be concerned about the shadows, because sometimes shadows help convey the story. So once you learn how to master lighting, then you can invest in better equipment. But if it's just stuff you're going to be posting on Instagram and social media, the phone cameras are awesome. Like
they're incredible now.
Nowadays they're almost as close as your entry level DSLR cameras. Like they're close. But if you want to go into make money by selling prints, and then you may want to invest in a higher end camera, and then on a good piece of glass, meaning the lens, because then you'll tell the difference when you print something on a large format. You'll see some of the noise if you're not careful. But for social media stuff, the phone is great, or even entry level cameras are fantastic. But the key thing for me has always been lighting. Like learn your lighting, learn how to control it, and then from there everything will fall in place.
Yeah, I would agree. Don't jump in to get expensive equipment because, again, it's been said many times.
Yeah.
Because even when I started, the most expensive equipment, a Hasselblad in the wrong hands, is not going to really result in any kind of good.
Because when I started college, all my lighting was DIY. Like it was all homemade stuff using stuff from Home Depot.
Totally.
It was all homemade stuff. It wasn't until like my second year in college that I was able to use some of my tuition to buy some strobes, and I didn't buy expensive strobes. I invested in those Alien Bees by Paul, and those are the strobes I've always shot with, and I still shoot with them from time to time whenever I do newborns and stuff like that. I always use those strobes, and they're great strobes, and they're not very expensive. But I started off by homemade stuff. Like that's how I shot everything. Even when I had clients, like, I mean, of course, I painted everything black, so it kind of looked a little semi-professional. But I started off with DIY. Like that's how everything started off for me.
Right,
MacGyver.
Yeah, I know. You can use flashlights and house lamps and desk lamps, and all that stuff. And
when I first started, I was using like $5 desk lamps from Walmart with just a daylight bulb in it. To your guys' points, you don't need to invest money to get a good shot. You need to know what you're doing before you start investing money.
Yep.
Because that will help. But if you just get all that off the get-go, hey, I'm going to be the next big photographer, like you're not going to know what to do with it.
Yeah. Yep. You're wasting a lot of money, and you don't need it, man. You really don't need it. I mean, it's going to make a difference when you know what you're doing, but yes, something somebody said to me, I think it was Curtis actually. Like he said, like next year, like maybe do like something where you're showing people how to use stuff that they have around the house. And I think I'm going to do that. I think we're going to, do stuff like, that's what I'm saying, like kind of simplify it and keep it simple. And then just teach people maybe on a 1-to-1 basis or a 2-to-1 basis or a 3-to-1 basis. And just show them like, take a lamp. You could go get a hue bulb or even a cheaper, like multicolored bulb. You can use that, dial it up, the color up on your phone. Yeah, piece of tissue paper,
I used an
around the front of it.
T-shirt for a diffuser.
Yeah,
white T-shirt, as long as you don't have like
burning
a incandescent bulb that's going to blow up. Yeah, foam. Yeah,
from
as a bounce
box you get. This is what I use to bounce light.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, foam card, and like I say that in all the things. There's nothing fancy about that. It's a white foam card, gray foam card. You can get color foam, just that foam core stuff, and a clip that you can get from Home Depot. You can get a bag of those for $10, and that will hold it in place, and you're good to go, man. That's your bounce card. Your light can be a table lamp with some tracing paper over it, or a T-shirt if it's not incandescent. But yeah, keep it simple. Exactly, Rob.
I learned the aluminum foil trick from you, Trevor. I saw one of your first videos put up.
Yeah, I mean, before I just you can literally buy like a car. What do you call it? What's it called, Pablo? In large
foil.
A bounce piece,
the bounce card.
No,
yeah, but it's
A flats or B flat.
V flats. It's called a V flat.
The V flats.
Well, you can I just literally just bought some V flats on Amazon, and they're like, $5 or $6 a piece. And one side has silver, the other side black, the inside is white. But before I knew that was out there, I needed just a small piece. All I had was the big reflector pieces that you can buy. And I'm like, I need something small to get into this area, so I just wrapped a piece of cardboard with tinfoil.
Yeah, there was a shot I did. I shot a bottle of when the Honey Jack Daniels came out. It came out when I was in college, so we had an assignment where we had to shoot a product, and I shot that bottle, and I used that stuff that for scrapbooking. They sell little sheets of scrapbooking that have like gold foil on one side, silver foil on one side.
Yeah,
and I cut thin little strips. About maybe 2 inches smaller than the perimeter of the bottle, and I had that behind the bottle. So as I shined the light through it, it bounced back in that gold color, and the whole bottle looked gold, the honey gold color. And I love that's one of my favorite shots I did when I was in college. And just look at the scrapbooking area. There's a lot of neat reflective stuff that you can use, or even for dials, you can find a lot of stuff that looks like wallpaper.
Yeah,
and you can use that. Yeah,
yeah. It's fun to you can find like you said, you can find a lot of that stuff on YouTube, especially in product photography, that you can transpose right into toy photography techniques. The little things that they're using in the sets and stuff like that. It's pretty amazing.
Good tutorials.
I've never spent more time walking around Michael's than I have with toy photography.
Michael's at Hobby Lobby. Yeah, those two.
Yeah. Joanne's.
Joanne's. Joanne's. Some good videos to watch. Like if you want to see some really cool lighting tricks, there's I can't remember the name of the YouTubers, but the ones that do Lego tutorial photography, look at those, because the way they shoot those minifigures to get the lighting where you don't get that weird hotspot to make it look like a toy. It's amazing. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to shoot. It is.
Vonnie Rod said, I think posing composition would be number 1. Lighting is crucial, but if you can't compose, it just looks like you pulled it out of the box and set it on the ground 20 feet away.
Yeah,
it is
true. But even if
posing.
Yeah, Nate,
I agree with lighting,
number 1.
I think posing is incredibly important, because a pose that is off will stick out like a sore thumb. So if you could spend a lot of attention to detail on the background and the lighting and everything's perfect, but there's a leg that's turned the wrong way and it doesn't look natural.
Or you have the wrong side swinging.
It's going to stick out.
Study anatomy pretty much. If you study anatomy, you'll just look at yourself walking or running in the mirror.
Yeah, if you're not sure how it works, just act it out. Swing a sword or something and see what body parts move and how you got to move yourself.
You can feel it along with that. What I mean, even if you're not looking at it in the mirror, you can just sort of feel.
Yeah, you can feel it. I sometimes do that depending on certain shots. Like if for some reason it doesn't look right, I'll try to do that, and then I'll realize, okay, that's why it doesn't look right, and then I'll go in and adjust it.
And I say right along with posing is it's totally tied into it, is the eye line. If you've got more than one character in your scene and they're supposed to be looking at each other or fighting each other, get down eye level, look, where they're looking, and see if it matches up. It makes a difference too.
Nate, matter of fact, the shot you have recently with the Goblin versus the 3 Giants.
That
was a great showdown shot. I mean,
great shot.
So much.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous shot. Yeah.
Thank you, Steph. Thanks, guys.
And yeah, the Furious 4 too. I want to bring that up in a little while. Also, watch your posing. Nothing can kill a pretty photo. That's an awkward stance. Yeah, that's what Nate was saying, and it's just yeah, good advice. Try it yourself, but yeah, it's important, Nate. I mean, it's hard to say that it's not, it's not lighting. Like, you can go outside. I've seen people just go outside. If you're an outdoor shooter, you can get that golden hour and you can stick a figure somewhere, and hopefully you've removed all the, out of scale leaves. Please, please do that. Please. Please, for the love of God. But you could do that and you can have nice lighting. And as long as you've got a good pose, that could be a good shot, even if you're not bouncing any light or doing anything. Right. I agree, Pablo, lighting is probably my number one, but you could go outside and you can get some good shots without having to know anything about lighting, except that, you don't go out at noon.
Right. For me, posing comes at number 2.
It's right there. That's right.
Yeah, it is right there, because even if you know how to pose and learn how to pose, if your lighting's not,
I agree.
It's not going to make a difference whether your posing is correct or not. So for me, it's always been lighting and then posing. And it took me a while to figure out to do posing properly. Like, I watched a lot of the ACBA stuff because it's easy for me to tell someone, a living person, to pose properly, but to get the figure to pose properly, that's tricky.
Take practice. Always take practice, for sure.
Yeah, keep practicing. That's what I do. Like, if I'm working and I've got some downtime, I'll just try to get a pose. How does this look?
Just have a figure on your desk with you, and just every once in a while, just play around with it.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of my shots will start with the pose. So I'll be messing around with a figure, or I'll see something like, I want to see if I can do that, and then I'll pose it and I'll get it the right way, and like, I like this so much, let me see if I can build a shot around that now.
Yeah,
have the pose the way I want it.
Another neat trick that I used to do when I first started off was I would composite my shot through the viewfinder.
Yes.
So I would set my camera up the distance that I kind of figure where I want it, and then I'll start putting stuff in there.
Yeah.
What I see through my viewfinder to make sure that what's important for the shot is shown, and what's not important for the shot but needs to be there to either hold something or just to add stuff in the background could be there or not. And then after I'm done posing, I will shut off all the lights in the room, and then I'll start turning one light at a time to make sure I get the lighting right and the shadows where I need them correctly. And then once I get all that dialed down, and then that's when I start shooting. And sometimes I still do it. Like yesterday, with a few shots that I did yesterday, I did that same concept. And when I did the tutorial, I kind of told people, it's better to start off in a dark room and turn one light at a time, depending on how many lights you're going to use, and make sure that the light is where you want it and where the shadows are where you want. And if you have lighting on something that you don't want, then don't be afraid to use a flag to flag that out. You could always use black cards to flag those out. And then, just get some small foam cards because at this scale, you don't need anything huge. Yeah. So, but that's what I normally do. I would composite the shot in the viewfinder.
I can't agree with that enough. I did that baby turtle shot recently, and
that was an awesome shot. I'm jealous you have those.
Thanks, man. But what I tried to do, to Pablo's point, is I got basically the poses that I want, and I want at least this stuff in the shot. So then, what negative space do I need to fill up? Okay, let me go back and put something there. Just trying to fill up the space so that you can look all around the image and not just at the figures. You want them to kind of dance around. So I think, I totally agree with Pablo.
Yeah.
Use the viewfinder because that's what people are going to see. So what do you see there that you don't like? Either change the angle or put a prop in there to fill up some space.
Yep.
Yeah.
And mess with foreground and background. It helps to have stuff that's really close that maybe you don't really know what it is, but like it's a pile of rocks. So at least it makes it feel like the figure is in the middle of a scene and not just in front of everything.
Yeah, it gives it
adding depth is huge. Yeah, we see a lot of that. Some of the newer people on Tuesdays using, either a digital background or a printed background or something like that. And it's basically just a figure on some grass and a background. And it just doesn't have any depth. And you can easily remedy that by having some props, simple rocks, or go outside and get a rock. That's what I used to do.
Yeah,
atmosphere helps a lot with depth also.
I use these little smoke effects that I got from somebody on Instagram, but I use them all the time. Almost too much, probably. But I always put one
that's
in
kind of
the
a signature
foreground and then some in the background just to kind of bring it all together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can use that stuff. You use it that way too, Nate, is for framing. Like that can actually create part of a frame. Once you get knowing what you're doing, you can take those elements and it does. Like Nate said, it's not doesn't matter if it's recognizable. I mean, it shouldn't be completely, black in the foreground, although there may be a reason for that sometimes. But as long as it has some sort of shape, you don't need to know that it's a rock or a certain type of piece of equipment or something like that, or a beam or something. But sometimes those things can be used as points of framing, framing out your shot, which is even, that's some more advanced stuff, but really cool stuff. And Mike, I got to say, Michael Xavier is here in the chat. Mike was going to be with us tonight, but he didn't think he could get off work, but now I guess he's not feeling good and he had a sick day. So sorry, Mike. We'll get you on again. We're going to do a lot of these, once a month or so, just get some people on. I want to get some more customizers back on too to talk about that stuff. And Steph, you're no stranger to photography either. You do some stuff yourself.
Yeah, I'm a student. I dabble.
Everybody's a student, Steph. Yeah. Everybody's a student.
That's a gorgeous shot.
Yeah, this is really love. I love this overhead light. This is like that God light.
Yep.
Right. So cool.
Just a little bit in the background. Again, like interesting lighting so that that's the figure, and then there's just a little drop off in the background like this, and that's really, really nice.
Completely by accident. I had no idea.
I don't believe it.
You're a man of many talents, though, my friend. You're a man of many talents. Beautiful. And look at this bow. I mean, this bow is insane. It's incredible.
And this is a gorgeous shot, and not that many people can pull off this top down shot. Like it's tricky to do.
Yeah, you get a little bit of an overhead, just above eye level type of shot. Yep. Oh, I didn't even notice this whole snake here.
And I think you used it so great here, Steph. I like top down sometimes because you can really show off the scene a bit more. When you try to get either below or at eye level, you're really only seeing the figure and what's in the background.
Right.
But if you can maybe angle it a bit higher, you can see kind of more of that foreground and what's going on around them. So I think you did a good job of showing that off, Steph.
Yeah, top down is a tricky. That's the only other thing I would say is like if you're starting out, these facts are so good. I got to use these with the magic users, man. Oh my God.
They're coming. They're coming.
I know, I can't wait. But shooting from below is generally your that's your friend right there. You should kind of live in that area, worm's eye view or whatever you want to call it. You don't have to get down ground level, but you definitely want to be shooting up to the figures. It's going to make them look a lot
it looks
bigger.
Looks more lively also.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It takes away the toy feel when you shoot at a low level like that. Because if you shoot straight on, the sense of that it's a toy comes to mind really quick first. Like it's a plastic figure. But if you do shoot it at that low, it gives it more interest, more like it doesn't look like it's a toy. And so you start looking and dissecting the image, then obviously, it's a toy. But
Right.
Yeah, but keep it simple. You don't have to get nuts with it. Eye level works occasionally with some portraits and stuff.
Yeah, portraits.
It all just depends on the composition that you've got going on. But I think if you want to create some interest right off the bat without having to go nuts with learning composition, you're just doing a hero pose, centered on the frame, shoot from below. You know what I mean? Shoot from below, and you'll definitely get some interest there. It'll be cool. Get rid of those leaves if you're shooting outside, please. Don't have giant blades of grass all over the place. Bring a little pair of scissors when you go outside.
I agree. I think I see sometimes when people start out, they're trying to make this big battle scene or 4 or 5 figures in a shot, and you don't realize how difficult that really is until you try to put something like that together. So you're going to get frustrated a lot quicker if you try to do something that's with multiple figures. So just try with one, see if you can get a shot that you like, and then maybe add somebody to the background or something.
Next week.
That's
next
week
the 10th. Next week is the 10th, right? I believe.
Yep.
So that's when I'll be able to pick up my Brontes. It'll be my first tro. So that in itself is going to be a challenge because I've never shot anything that big,
huge.
Yeah. And what I have in mind right now, like the shot that I have in mind, like I'm trying to figure out if I can do that on my dial or I'm gonna have to do that outdoors. So because that'll be I've never had a troll, so I don't know. Like I've seen them in person, like at the con and stuff, but for me to actually hold one and play one and try to pose it and put it in my scene, I haven't done that. So it's gonna be a challenge for me next week. So
they are tricky.
I've seen Darth Dundada. He had a great shot with
he's another person I got to get on.
Stone Troll.
He does some epic scenes.
He's been killing it with his Joe stuff.
He really has. Yeah.
I don't know who it was that shot the ice troll falling off a cliff and had one of the Joy Toy Warhammer wolf figures, the Wolf Marines. That was such an awesome shot. I don't remember who did it. I have it saved.
I saw that shot,
but it's such an awesome shot because he has that stone troll falling off the mountain, like falling back, and the angle he shot it, and you see the Wolf Marine with his battle axe swinging down at him, and he's going down with it. It's such a awesome shot. I can't remember who shot it.
It's cool.
They're real good close up. But then there's that wasn't the one I was trying to find. I was trying to find something where it's actually
Dean Wright did the troll falling.
Well, here's one sort of.
Ooh.
So this is like it's good when you can get them breaking out of the frame is actually a cool thing because it actually makes them look even bigger than they are.
Yeah.
But generally these guys don't move that much, so like angles are good. Little Dutch angle here, or a little. Sorry if Mario's in the chat for the Dutch reference, but the Norwegian slant.
Norwegian slant.
It's not the one I was trying to find. I was trying to find an older one, but whatever. Anyways, I mean, big environments for those things, man. I get, again, like it's not recommended for the faint of heart. So, like, I wouldn't go. Keep it simple. Again, keep it simple. I'm interested to see what you do with it, Pablo.
I'm looking forward to shooting it.
They're
I'm excited.
Tricky, but they're fun. They have a whole personality to them. So.
Do they pop off easily, like the arms, or is that like they're
not really? No.
Okay, I was just wondering because like there's a. Oh, you know what? I found that image. Let me share that with you real quick. I was curious to see whether I can pop the limbs off or not to get certain poses.
I think shooting for your output is important too. If you post to IG, then your photo is like 3 inches wide. Don't try and put 20 figures in it. Yeah, it's true. Like I wouldn't. On the other flip side of that, I wouldn't say don't limit yourself to making it look good on IG, unless that's your only outlet and that's all you want to do. Because there are a lot of times where I do some detailed photos that when they get on IG and get compressed and are small. I tell people, listen, this is a zoomer, man. You got to zoom in on this because there's a lot going on here. And on IG, it's going to look like a muddy mess. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to shoot, a great shot. If it's a great shot that, might not look great.
So the guy that shot that shot
portrait, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you don't have to stick to that square ratio either. Forget that shit.
So the guy that shot that shot is that Geek.Turtle?
There's Dean.
Oh, Dean, yeah.
Oh, Dean. Yeah.
I shared the shot with you, Trevor. That shot is gorgeous.
Is it in the comments?
It's in the. I think I sent it to you via message on.
Instagram, okay. I'll go to it there. Let me see.
Oh, you're looking for that, Nate. I was going to ask you, what's your connection to like sort of the fantasy realm?
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up loving fantasy. I guess my first exposure was to fantasy stuff. I mean, I want to say Harry Potter, but I think it's even earlier than that. Just like Lord of the Rings. My dad was into Conan when I was younger, so I would see a lot of that stuff. I don't know. Does Star Wars count as fantasy? It does, doesn't it? I don't know.
Sci-fi.
Yeah, it's sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say. Definitely, I would say comics is more of what I was exposed to, like Turtles, Batman, Marvel stuff. But as I got older, I started appreciating more fantasy stuff, like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. I read when I was really young, which really gave me some passion for it. And then as I got older, I discovered things like Harry Potter and just more of that, the fantasy realm. But it wasn't my main focus, to be honest with you, which I think is probably why I got into Legions a bit later. I do love fantasy, but it wasn't, I was more into comics, things like that. But I think as I've gotten older, I've definitely appreciated it more. just the lore that's there, and the fact that you can kind of create your own world with fantasy. It can be really whatever you want. It doesn't have to be anything specific, which is why I've been liking it a lot more, because I don't have to be in these defined parameters about what this figure can and can't do, or what this character can and can't do. With fantasy, you can do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, we were touching on that earlier in the sticking to the lore, and I think what Nate was saying was kind of when we started out with these, and when I found them, that was just like, oh, these are going to be my D&D dudes, and I'm just going to do what I'm going to mash them up, put whoever I want together, and they're just going to be, adventuring dungeons and stuff like that. And then I got more into it, and then obviously I have to do some stuff for them that kind of sticks to the lore too. So I'm a little more into it now, but really they can be. I mean, look at this. Like, this is a Warhammer dude, and you know what I mean. Like, love that. I don't know what this means. I mean, your favorite what after a few drams? Not a very good photographer after a few. Actually,
yeah, I like to try to stick to the lore as much as I can. If I can,
I do too,
certain times, like there's certain shots that I want to do, but I just don't have the right figure to convey what I want. So like one of my favorite go-to figures is Juno, and I love putting the red wings on her, making it look like an angel. And I've shot a few shots of her fighting against Bilfagor with the angel wings, and he has his demon wings on. And I have her portrayed as a hero, and when she's not, she's part of Erethir's army. Wait, is it Erethir's army? Or
Juno? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she's not a hero in the lore, but some of the shots I do shoot of her, she's my hero in that shot.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
She's just that classic, again, Frazetta fantasy, badly armored. Female. Which is,
the armor makes no sense, but it works.
I get a little tired of that sometimes in art, but it's like really, I mean, like she's literally just wearing a G-string and an armored bra. Like, come on, man! Like, what the?
I was like going into battlefield with
but
that.
That's Red Sonja, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
Yep.
And somebody who's Brick was saying that's the second my dad was in. Now, was your dad into both your dads? Were they into Conan, like the movie Conan or the comic book story reading books Conan? Or
my dad collected the magazines. They weren't the comic books. They were the magazine size.
Yeah.
He had a massive collection of Conan.
Oh, those are nice, man.
So that's where I started off with Conan. And then, of course, the Arnold movie was a big hit for us, both of them.
Right.
And then the Red Sonja was an okay film, but we don't talk about it because it wasn't. Yeah, so, but the fact that they made a Red Sonja film and that he came out in it as a co-star, I guess, like it wasn't his movie, but he was in it. But yeah, that's where I grew up with Conan, was those magazine size, and then he had the comic books, of course. And then I got into Turtles and stuff like that too at that time. Because I mean, I was born in '79, so at that time. But yeah, I grew up with a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. At least I think it's a lot of good stuff.
I like Red Sonja. She's classic fantasy, but Nate, your dad was into the comic books or the?
He was into the comics, because I think if I remember correctly, the comics started around like '70s, so he would kind of dabble into that. And I remember seeing them when I was younger, because I wasn't born until the '80s. But around the house, he'd have Conan comics that he would read or just collect. I wish I would have kept that now, knowing what I know now about collecting. But yeah, and then he was into Arnold. So the Conan movie came out. He's a big fan of it.
My dad had Mad magazines, which was cool. Like, it was great. It's great sense of humor building, but like nothing cool like Conan, man.
Right, me either.
You must have had a funny dad.
So he was very funny. He was funny. I do thank him for having a good sense of humor.
No, my dad had a huge comic book and magazine collection, and then he had an extremely huge vinyl record collection.
Wow!
Which so my dad's already been 4 years past now, but we had that collection in a storage unit, and there was no way that my mom can keep up with it. So I ended up finding someone who bought the entire collection. Like there was over there was over 150,000 vinyl, and then about 80,000 of the 45s in that collection.
Wow!
And we sold it to a collector that also sells vinyl. Like they have a vinyl shop here, and actually in my area. So I was able to get rid of that whole collection. But it was a massive collection that he had.
Wow. Rick Jones speaks truth here for sure. Barry Windsor Smith.
So, Nate and Pablo, you guys were both at Legions Cons this past year. How did you guys get into picking up any third-party sculpts, or you doing much customizing, or wanted to look into that?
Yeah, I picked up a couple of head sculpts while I was there, and that was really, it just blew me away. The amount of customizers that were at the show, the amount of stuff that I saw from people that were on offer, makes me really excited for Legions Con this year, especially with Cosmic around the corner. We're going to see some maybe Cosmic customs and Legions. But yeah, I mean, Legions Con was just such a blast. Not only was it fun just to kind of meet people from Four Horsemen and get to see those guys and how passionate they are and be able to buy some of those figures, but just meeting everybody from the community, it was really cool. I had a lot of fun. That's one of the most enjoyable cons I've been to.
That's awesome. And for especially someone who's pretty new to the Mythic community to go and experience that, that's super cool.
Yeah.
What's up, Machu? Machu just got done doing a ZoloCon wrap up, so go check that out after if you're here with us live. I'm going to go check it out right after this too.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, Pablo, how was your con experience?
I loved it. It was awesome. I still haven't heard back from Jeremy, but I'm hoping if all works well, I'll have a booth this year to sell some prints. Nice. I've got permission from Jeremy that I could sell my Mythic Legion shots. Great. Just as long as I don't have any of the Four Horsemen logos or any logo factions on there.
So they're pretty cool.
I'm good to go. Yeah. So I'm hoping once I hear from Jeremy, I'll have a booth. I already bought tickets either way, just in case I don't get a booth. I'll be there again this year, and I already got my hotel also. But no, I
scalp those outside the door for $3
It was a fun experience seeing like so many Mythic Legion people all in one room. And so much customizable stuff was there. Like I didn't get to pick up any custom pieces per se for myself. I picked up a few from Nikki's table for a friend of mine who wanted some of the dwarf heads that she had. I had plans to pick some stuff up body wise. I was trying to get the night builders, the female ones. Because I wanted to get two, but I couldn't find any there. So I'm waiting for that because I did commission someone on the Cabal to digitally scope me and print me two head scopes, one of Raya and one of Numari from the last Dragon movie.
Okay.
So I had plans to make two customs, one of Raya, one of Numari, to go with that dragon that we're getting in the Pox's wave. And that's gonna be the dragon. So like I already have that planned out. So I'm just looking for the body. So that's the only customs that I'm working on right now. I've done 3 or 4 customs total.
Cool. Well, we've got one of the best in the biz on with us tonight.
Yes, and I have some parts from you already, Steven. So I need to get some more from you too. But yeah, I do want to dabble more in customs for sure. That's for sure. So we'll see how.
Yeah, Nate, have you gotten into that at all? You painting or popping and swapping? Well, I know you paint with the.
Yeah, you guys know. I joke about it all the time. I use Sharpies to do all my customizing. I'm just kidding. No, I've got zero talent for that, so I leave that to the professionals.
Well, I mean, that's one way to do it. I'm not going to talk you into it, but I think you could do it. I think you'd have the eye for it. But it is kind of nice. I had a good time spending pretty much every dime that I made on customs. I will say it was fun.
Popping and swapping gives me a bit more, I guess, flavor for that because you can't do that with really any other figures. So I remember around the time that I started, you guys were doing that pop and swap contest in the Cabal. That was fun. To try my hand at some, and it was fun, man. It's really cool. It makes you collect a figure maybe you weren't as interested in at first because you're like, oh, well, I like the armor, or I like the skin tone, or just the pieces that this guy has. I can add it onto this guy.
And there's some simple, like you don't have to do a whole lot of painting to change the figure. Just small, like with the Juno, one of the Junos I had, I changed the colors of her tattoos from the red to the blue, and then I painted her blue, and that's all I really did with her. And then I just gave her some soft goods. And then I bought a second Dorina, and I made a custom tribute figure to Darna. She's a superhero from the Philippines. She's similar to Wonder Woman, I guess you could compare her to.
Yeah.
So I made her, and that one's a full custom that I did. Like I even changed the skin tone on her body. I made her a little bit more tan, which was a little tricky to do.
Yeah.
But I do find that like beasts and orcs and stuff are a lot easier to customize because you don't have to worry so much about the eye.
Skin tone's tough.
It's on human and the skin tones, but the eye has always been an issue for me on such a small little thing to get the pupils and the iris correct for human characters. But for like creatures and orcs, that's a little easier because you could just white them out or put red.
But you can do stuff as simple as like, you know, some of the basic armor on some of the Legion builders.
Even the armor,
like you can go and, you know, just hit these, and I think Jeremy actually has a video like just hit these rivets here. You know, I mean, these are painted on this one, but on some of those they're not. That and a little bit of a wash. That's easy to do.
Yep.
And you know, you're into it, man. You're into more than just pop and swapping and stuff. So
if you got a dark armored figure like a Black Knight Legion builder, you know, a dry brush goes a really long way. A nice silver, maybe something on the colorful side, it completely transforms the look of the figure.
Yes.
Actually, I am so I'm kind of working on a custom right now. It's a half giant. What's going on, man? Hey, well, my wife is Filipino, so that's how I got into the whole Filipino side. So I bought a second half giant and another kit, and I bought that head scope, the Berserker head scope from what's his name? It's the Lobo head scope that he did. He just made it larger to fit on the half giant.
Jeremy Wilson.
So I bought that head scope off of him. I was gonna paint that one myself, but I sent it to a buddy of mine that does good paint work. So he's gonna paint it up for me, and I sent him the body too to give him some of that Berserker color paint match on it. So that's a current one that I'm working on. I'm just waiting for that to come back, and I'll be shooting that one soon. I hope so.
Nice.
Cool.
Looking forward to that one. Yeah.
So I want to go back to what we were talking about early on, and I said there was a question I want to bring up that I didn't bring up yet. So in terms of your collecting now, and I know, Pablo, I kind of know what both of you collect at this point. I mean, Nate, in your show, you're always you guys talking about like, you know, paring back and thinking about really, you know, in detail what you're collecting at this point. And I listen to that, and then it all goes out the window. But I'm seriously trying now to like, I know for you guys too. Then you go into like, what did you pre-order? Oh, like everything under the sun.
Pretty much.
Yes. It's a vicious cycle.
It is. But like, I really am like, exactly. But are you guys beyond that? Like, forget about like wanting everything. Are you collecting? As toy photographers, are you collecting now more for the photography? And do you, like me, feel bad when you buy something and you put it on the shelf and you never shoot it? And it's just, it feels like, oh, I wasted money on that to some degree. You know what I mean? I still like things that are on the shelf, but like, I feel like I should really justify this by shooting it. Do you have those feelings?
It's definitely a mix of a little bit of both. So there's certain things I'll collect just because I love them, you know?
Yeah.
But then to that degree, when I do pick up something, I'm like, okay, could I use this for a shot? I should probably use this for a shot. Because when I break it open, to your point, just put it on a shelf or it just sits there for a while, I feel like I'm not getting my money's worth. So yeah, I would say the older I get, and like you're talking about on the show, I can't just keep collecting everything. So how do I want to focus my collection? Probably on things that I get inspired by to shoot or that I have some kind of personal connection to. But like I say this sometimes, I see a lot of people will pick up a lot of figures because they go on sale. Like I ask myself, it's great at $10, but did I have any interest when that was full price? Right. And if I didn't, I'm not going to pick it up when it's on sale either.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So now it's a little bit of both. You know, I do collect stuff that I like, but I always try to make sure I can get some kind of use out of it, just so I feel like I'm getting the worth and the value.
When you see it, because I would do this, especially in stores when it could be an impulse buy, which wasn't often. There's a couple of toy stores around here that are okay, a little overpriced, but even now, like with especially places like 5K Toys and stuff like that, and all these third-party crazy things, these dinosaur warriors and stuff like that. And like, I look at it and I go, I convince myself that I have a great shot in mind for this thing, and this is going to be really cool. And then I get it, and I never get to do that shot. I default to the Legions or to something else that I'm into, the Joy Toy, which I actually am shooting to some degree. So do you play those games in your head, or is it more just, hey, that's a cool looking figure, I'm just going to pick it up? Or is it more with the thought of, I have a shot in mind for this thing, and this could be really cool behind, the camera?
I think a lot of it's, I try to have a shot in mind. So, if I'm going to pick up a figure, is there something that comes to mind that I could do that I could use it with? So I know when I get it in, okay, that's at least one shot I'm going to get out of it. And then other ideas will come. But I'd be lying if I said I'd do that with every single purchase, because there's definitely things I've picked up that I don't really know what I'm going to do with, but I know at some point maybe it'd be nice to have it for a shot, something like that. So yeah, it's again, I know I'm not being great as far as picking one or the other, but
yeah,
it's definitely a mix of both.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
Grumps, no, it's not. But let me tell you, you see all these 1/6 figures back here. I haven't shot half of those things, so I am enjoying. I do enjoy the collecting piece, but I don't know. There's a thing in me that's like with some of these things, not some of these things, but there's things like, the dinosaur warrior, or I bought that, Mr. Knight, Mezco like figure, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to do anything with this. I don't shoot a lot of Marvel. It's not the first thing on my mind when I want to go and shoot something, and yet I bought this, whatever it was, $70, $80 figure that looks really cool, but I don't know if I'm going to do anything with it. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of stuff where I go, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So I do enjoy my collection. So that's not a matter of I have to use every figure. I have to use something to
There's also the just in case factor. Also, you might not necessarily have an idea at the moment, but in the back of your mind, I may come across a setup in the future where this could be something I can incorporate into my shot, right? So,
yeah,
it isn't always the driving focus, but me as a customizer, I don't typically need a certain material at the moment, but I hoard it just in case it becomes useful in the future. Same thing with accessories. And I would imagine the same thing for photography too.
Oh yeah. How about you, Pablo? And then we'll start. I
started leaning a little bit more on that side of if am I going to shoot it, and how often am I going to shoot it? If it's something that I just have one idea and I can't think of more on the spot, then I may hold off on that. So I've completely gotten out of the Marvel Legends and the Black Series. Like I'm not getting those. I don't see my value going toward those figures anymore. Yeah. Because they increased their price, but they didn't increase what comes with the figure. So it's like the same figure, same amount of stuff, but at a higher price, when I could invest that money on a higher end figure, get more for my money, and knowing that I'm gonna have more fun with it. But I've gotten to a point where, because sometimes I do have impulse buys, but I have to I have to really think about it. It's like, okay, can I use this shot? And what I like to do when I shoot is that I like to make sure that I can combine everything into one shot. So I'll mix Mythic Legion figures with Ninja Turtles, or I'll mix, if I can make it work, then I'll go ahead and get it. And if I can,
Conan and Ninja Turtles,
So I love mixing, crossing universes if it works. Sometimes it doesn't work, but as long as it works and I can convey the story properly, just like I did that shot with the Cyclops. Why can't I think of his name? The Archimedes.
Archimedes.
And Uni.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was a comical shot, and it worked, and it was a funny shot, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So as long as I can come up with shots like that, then I'll go ahead and buy it. But I've cut back on what I've purchased, especially since I'm gearing more at the higher end of stuff. I have to really be picky on what I get now. And I have to make sure that it's going to be something I can utilize. But I do enjoy the collecting also. Like, I like to get certain things that bring nostalgia to me. The one thing I'm definitely never going to stop collecting is the NECA Ninja Turtle cartoon line. Like, I'm trying to get everything I can off of that, as much as I can. Same with the movie Turtles. Like, all those, like, that's like I haven't shot enough of those in a while. I need to get back to the turtles, but right now I'm working on a project, and then I have some other stuff I want to do that's coming up in a few weeks. So, but yeah, I'm trying to stick to just purchasing stuff that I know I'm going to shoot.
Yeah.
And shoot often. Even when I buy stuff for my daughter, like I find myself, I was like, do I want to give this to her? I was like, or do I want to shoot it? Because just recently we ordered her, because she's 6 and she just recently got into those Rainbow High and Shadow High dolls.
Okay.
And we purchased her a themed one for Dia de los Muertos, and I kind of don't want to give it to her. But even the box art on this thing.
Oh wow!
Damn,
that's cool.
And the figure.
Wow. Jeez.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful figure. So
I think you got to shoot that, man.
And the inside lights up. Like it lights up.
Wow.
So I told her that once I'm done photographing this, then I'll let her play with it. But
there you go.
I'll give you your toy when Daddy's done with it.
Daddy's done play with it.
Nice.
So but yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing photographing the doll. But yeah, there's certain things that I will buy just for the my collecting side, and I'll probably never shoot, but it's just because it brings nostalgia for my collection. But
it's fun to break out with stuff like that sometimes. Yeah.
I feel like with anything, there's got to be a method to the madness, right? Like
Yes.
If you don't put roadblocks for yourself, it's going to get out of control really quickly, and you're going to look back and be like, "Holy crap! I've got a lot of stuff."
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Speaking of stuff,
I'm looking to the side and saying,
figures is one thing, but being a photographer, as you guys know well, we buy dials, we buy props,
props, lighting,
that stuff adds up, man. It's like
space is limited.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, guys, we're coming up on 2 hours, so I don't want to keep you guys up all night. I know Steph's probably got to do another show somewhere. He's got like
my bladder thanks you.
Oh yes, I know. Sometimes you're free to take a bio break, man. But we'll wrap it up now. Steph's been on as many things as I've been on in the last couple of weeks.
Trying to get back on, and the baby finally went to sleep, so you're gonna see a lot of me now.
Nice.
Man, is he cute, Steph? Wow.
And thank you very much for that dwarf, Steph. Like I have plans for that too. Also, like I'm looking forward to shooting that.
Well, we got a man who's got to pee here, so let's wrap this. So, a couple actually.
No, I don't want to rush your ending.
Yes,
Nate, where can we? When is your next show? Check out Sunday's episode, which was fantastic yesterday, called "Lowered Expectations," which I had completely forgot about that skit.
That's
I'm glad that you got that. From Mad TV.
But it was also a great discussion. You guys always come up with great topics on the figure booth, which is on.
It's on YouTube. You guys can find me at figurefan_Nate on Instagram. Barrow, if anybody even uses that anymore, I don't even use them.
Links in the description too.
Facebook, and then to Trevor's point, if you guys are interested in our podcast, which I have with Prime to the First. It's called The Figure Booth. We're on YouTube. We also post to audio platforms, so you don't have to watch the video. You can listen to the audio version, but we post new episodes every Sunday, and then we do lives every other Monday.
Yes.
Awesome. Scott Baker, thank you very much. Great show. I think I agree, man. This is a great guest.
Thanks for
great co-host.
A lot of fun.
Pablo, where can we find you?
You can find me pretty much every week on Tuesdays on the Moss Toy Box Photography YouTube channel, where we'll be there tomorrow. Go over people's photos. Yes, we'll be there tomorrow. We'll critique your photos, give you some good points and tricks that you can implement on your next shot, or if you want to redo your shot, and we love to see when people redo their shots.
Yes,
at least I do. I definitely love when they do that.
Me too.
And then I'm also sprinkled here and there in some other YouTube channels when I get asked to come on. One of them is the Pig Bar. The other one is the Mythic Heathens on Fridays. It just varies. Usually I'll post that on my Instagram, on my stories, where I'm going to be and the time. But you can always find me on Instagram at the PL_toybox_photography. And if you guys ever have questions, just DM me. I like to help out the community as much as I can when I can. So
Cool.
Yeah, use that hashtag Toymaz hashtag,
Yes.
and you also have to tag him in your
tag the actual
photo.
photo. Yeah, your photo. Yeah, don't forget to tag.
Yeah, we like to do that, and I think we're helpful.
I think so too.
But whatever.
And I've noticed an increase in people coming to the show. So
Definitely. Steph, my friend, what you up to next? Where are you going? Whose show are you on? What are you making? What are you creating? Where are you going?
Only the win goes next. But as far as customs and props and figure stuff, I got some pretty big stuff planned. Some siege weapons, some glow in the dark stuff.
Can't wait for cosmic stuff from you, man. It's gonna be great.
Yes, I know.
We were talking about that yesterday. It's just on Jesse and Curtis's show. Just shelved it last night, so go check that out on Replay. Join the Replay gang there and watch that. It's a good conversation. But you are on Detour Customs.
Detour
on Instagram.
Customs on Instagram, and check out
Underscore.
the website.
Is that underscore?
www.detourcustoms.com. Pick yourself some
Amazing stuff.
Yes.
Yep.
Excellent.
For sure. Nate, I just want to show this real quick. Sorry, I love this shot of yours that you just did of the Fab Four here.
Great work.
I meant to bring it up earlier, but we'll close the show with this.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, Kev. I didn't forget you.
Look at this. So awesome.
Oh, yes.
I love how you included the different focal points too, so you can really focus on what everybody's doing.
Well,
I love the puppy. The puppy's just
yeah.
Yeah, these are all inside jokes. If you watch My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me, you'll know everything that's going on here. It's
Fireman's
some of it
act,
is PG and some of it is not. Wow, this is awesome, man. I had that little cauldron, and I was going to use it. I'm like, well, it's done. This is it.
I've had that since Halloween. Been waiting for this whole time.
I know.
It's
over.
Dude.
it's a good
act
piece.
for Pete. And,
Really
Cool.
cool. I like the way you did, like even the lighting is a little off center from the window. That's focused on the. It's really cool, man. Awesome shot.
I did have a question. Is that pipe a separate piece, or is that the one that's in the hand and you painted the hand red? The smoke pipe.
No, it's a separate piece. Actually, it's from an old 1/6 figure I had a long time ago.
Nice. I've been trying to look for a good smoke pipe for.
It works well. Works
It
really
does.
well.
Yeah, perfect with them. Yeah.
It's perfect.
And is that the Marvel Select Doctor Doom chair?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I love that
Good
chair.
chair.
Works great.
That's a good chair.
It is a good one.
Didn't
Now I'm
realize
gonna
that.
have to
That's really
go
good.
hunt that down.
Yeah, me too. I know a guy. I know a store that's got a lot of Marvel Selects that are
Bring
older
up
that sit
prop.
around.
Yep.
So I gotta find that, man. That's great. And you can find Nate at Corona4, of course, on Instagram. Find me on Instagram. You know where I am at 1/6 Shooter, and right here we'll have the 1/6 pack on Friday, and trying to shoot some more stuff if I can get this Mythic Legion stuff off the table, which you're all gonna love, but I can't say anything else about. Don't forget Wednesday. Go order these puppies, the retail line. Get those orders in because you only got a limited time. It's a great wave. So go check that out. Thank you everybody for the super chats. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And thank you everybody for showing up. Hit that like on the way out if you haven't hit it already. Yeah, Scott Baker. Exactly. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. And go watch the Figure Booth next Monday when we're not on at 9 p.m. It's perfect. And Maz's Toy Box tomorrow at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern.
6 o'clock. 6 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Later, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
See you guys later.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for being on. Good night.
Good night.